What's going on, everyone? Welcome to today's weather forecast outlook. We have a rather interesting system that came on shore today out of the Gulf of Mexico. We've been talking about this for about a week now, and it is a tropical-like system. It's producing heavy rainfall across portions of Mississippi, Louisiana, and even into Arkansas. And we have a really unusual event that has gone on down in southern Florida near Fort Lauderdale. Yesterday, 20 to 25 inches of rain fell near Fort Lauderdale, and check this out. It is pouring rain there again today. There is another flash flood warning which is up, and this is just unbelievable. And the rainfalls are falling at a rate of 1 to 2 inches per hour in this. And this stalled area of convection just keeps on going and going. There's essentially a boundary here. You can see an outflow boundary pushed southwest, and now you have this convergence that's just firing up along this. The models are not handling this very well, so we'll have to see how long it keeps going. More flooding is going to continue here in Broward County, and there is a state of emergency that the governor of Florida did issue for this area just because it's just a rare event. As we head over to the National Hazards Map, a large area has a fire risk today from Texas, from the Four Corners region, right on up through the Great Lakes. Please, no throwing cigarette butts or matches in this area. It's really dangerous. Quite frankly, you could continue that in Ohio, Pennsylvania, New Jersey. There was a big wildfire in New Jersey. I was reporting on that on my Twitter page, Climate Data Report Twitter page. And yeah, that's really bad. Taking a look here at the radar nationally, you can see there are some showers up here in the northern plains, north of Wyoming, Montana. Here's the area of low pressure that's continuing to spin down here in the Gulf Coast region. And this is something we're going to have to watch over the next couple days because that energy is essentially going to eventually go into the mid-Atlantic. And Saturday, places like Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, it could be supplying some showers and thunderstorms here. Some that could be slow moving. So we'll have to see how that evolves. We have the ongoing tornado threat here in Georgia and South Carolina. That should go up through this evening, and that should dwindle tonight. There will be a renewed threat tomorrow in the Carolinas. Taking a look here at the Storm Prediction Center, you can see there's still a slight risk here. The enhanced risk that was there earlier is gone. And taking a look at that, you can see tornado is still at 5%. Wind is at 15%. Hail, that's also at 15% in northeast Florida. Then going into tomorrow, we do have a slight risk up here in portions of the plains. I do think that could get extended down into Texas. So marginal risk again in the Carolinas. That could get upgraded to a slight risk. They may add tornado percentages. Right now, it's less than 2% in all areas. I'm not agreeing with that. I think they may need to add tornado percentage there. And also maybe a tornado percentage in the plains as well. Wind is 15% in the plains. Hail is also 15% in Hatch. Hail is the biggest threat for tomorrow. Day 3, another threat from Louisiana, right on up in through Illinois. Right now there is a Hatch 15% area. This one, the Day 3, this could go to enhanced risk. And if you recall, we were originally thinking there would be severe weather threat in Pennsylvania through New York State on Sunday. That now looks like it is diminished a bit because this system is going to move a little bit slower now than we originally thought. Taking a look here at the WPC, marginal risk of excessive rainfall in the southeast. They have a slight risk up for Fort Lauderdale area, but to be honest with you, I wouldn't pay any bit of attention to that because you just saw radar. There's ongoing training thunderstorms. Who knows how many more inches of rain is going to fall there today and tonight, which is ongoing. The models aren't picking up on it too well at all. Here's the latest the 18Z run. You can see it does somewhat show it there, but it just quickly diminishes over portions of southeast Florida. Here's our system that we're watching that came out of the Gulf, and you can see here it continues to spin. It gradually worked its way northeast. You also have this convection that fires up tomorrow in the Carolinas. We have to watch that. I think there's going to be a wind threat, and I do think there could be an isolated tornado threat. Not only there, but back here in South Carolina and western North Carolina as well. You still have that spin in the atmosphere, and anytime you have a spin like that, you could get rotating cells. As we advance this into Saturday, you can see there's still some stratiform rain on the northwest side of the system. Then some convection gets going in Pennsylvania. Some of this could be in the form of thunderstorms. There could be isolated severe thunderstorms with wind, maybe even a very low tornado threat as well, because you will get some rotation with these cells. They're going to be low top cells, but the bigger concern is going to be a flash flood threat that sets up with this, as these cells are not going to be moving that fast, and you could get training rotating around the system. Here's our other system that we're watching tomorrow. Let's backtrack this again. As you can see here, the herd doesn't develop too many storms here in the plains, but the ones that do form, there's definitely a hail threat there. I'm not terribly concerned about the tornado risk for tomorrow. It's Saturday that has a bigger tornado risk, and let's switch over to the RGEM model, which has been fairly bullish, at least for the Saturday aspect of the system. And take a look at this. Here's what happens in Pennsylvania. You can see you get these swirling areas of convection, and any of them that are slow or develop some convergence, you could have a flood threat. The RGEM model is showing a severe weather threat that sets up over New Orleans on Saturday around midday. Then we have to watch what happens along this boundary here that sets up with the system. Look at the explosion of thunderstorms. You're going to have a wind threat, you're going to have a hail threat, and I do think there's enough evidence to support at least somewhat of a tornado threat. Is it going to be, a classic supercell long track tornado threat? No, but I do think there will be a few tornadoes to be had with this. And eventually it will transition to a wind threat, and you could have a pretty significant straight line wind threat that will persist into Louisiana, maybe even Mississippi as we head into Saturday night. Then after that, we have to watch Sunday. Remember, we were thinking there would be a severe weather threat over Pennsylvania? It's now looking like that's going to be over the Ohio Valley, where wind, hail, maybe even an isolated tornado cannot be ruled out. This threat will shift into western Pennsylvania on Sunday night, but it is going to weaken somewhat because you're going to lose the heating of the day. So I'd say State College, Pennsylvania on westward is really going to be the cutoff for this. Let's take a look at the GFS. GFS is similar in nature. You can see it does have a severe weather threat on Saturday for Louisiana. Then we have the bigger risk, which is going to be from northern Louisiana right on up into Illinois. And watch what happens here on Sunday. You can see the severe weather threat happens in the Ohio Valley, gets to about western Pennsylvania, then it kind of falls apart because you lose the heating of the day. Behind that, there is going to be a one-day cold snap Monday evening in through about Tuesday, and this is really impressive. You're going to have snow showers coming off the Great Lakes. If you're in the Pacific Northwest, below average temperatures, and look at this, snow showers and rain showers with a fairly long duration flow off the Pacific, where you're talking about multiple days of showers and thunderstorms. As we get into later next week, there may be another severe weather threat that sets up in the plains with hail expected, wind, maybe a few isolated tornadoes, but look here. You're at 192 hours out, so we're not going to be too terribly concerned about that yet. Another ridge tries to get going in the east, maybe more above average temperatures at some point. As we take a look at the drought watch this week, Drought Monitor does show extreme drought conditions continue in the plains, and that drought is expanding in the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast. However, I will tell you this, some slight relief is going to occur from the showers on Friday night into Saturday. Not a lot of relief, but some localized relief could definitely happen. Florida, don't pay too much attention to this. Southeast Florida, there's definitely no drought for you. You're underwater right now, so don't pay terribly too much attention to that. The Northwest, I also would not pay terribly too much attention to the drought situation here. I think that's going to significantly improve with the shower situation. And plus, once we start seeing this mountain snow melt, that should improve the conditions as well. All right, let's take a look at the precipitation expected over the next 7 days. You can see more wet in the east. Look at California. Southern California really going to be dry. And you can see here there's an explosion of precipitation expected around Louisiana. That's because of that thunderstorm threat that we have for Saturday. Carolina is still wet. Not a lot of precipitation in the Northeast, but better than none. Moving on to the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, above average for a large portion of the country, southeast, the plains, below average in the northwest, near normal in the northeast next week. 8 to 14 days, actually slightly below average for places that are currently 80 to near 90 today in the northeast. So yeah, don't get terribly used to this hot weather that we're having in the northeast right now. It's not going to last. Above average in the south, above average in the northwest, and finally precipitation above average in the northwest. I agree with that. You're going to have that long duration flow of showers, snow showers coming off the Pacific, and below average in the south on through to the east. And then we go to the 8 to 14 day outlook. Above average, slightly above average in the northwest, below average around Texas, below average in the northeast. That I do agree with. Though we're going to see that slight relief in the drought situation on Saturday in the dry conditions in the mid-Atlantic, that's going to be short-lived, and we're not expecting a whole lot of precipitation for this time of year in the Northeast. So that is concerning, and I'm concerned about the drying that's setting up over the Northeast. But we'll have to see. It's still early in the warm season. We'll see what happens as we head into May and get a better picture of what's going to happen. Near normal for the rest of the Southeast, and so on. Alrighty, that does it for today's weather update. We will try and do another update again tomorrow, especially on the severe weather threats, since there are multiple days of severe weather threats. If you're down in the Fort Lauderdale area, please stay safe. Turn around. Don't drown. The rain continues there, and at some point tonight, it is eventually going to dissipate, and there may be a renewed threat tomorrow. So, yeah, it's just a really life-threatening situation down there. So stay safe if you live in that area. Alright, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this, hit the subscribe button down below. I'll see you all again next time. Have a great night.